All right, looks like we're live. Let's make sure it's going okay on the old YouTubes. Come on. And sounds all right. So I just saw an interesting page on Facebook. Christian single mothers against pit bulls. Um, and it's one of these pages arguing, and you see a lot of this on the internet. The pit bulls are just inherently violent, out of control. They're a dangerous breed. They should be outlawed. They should all be destroyed. All that kind of stuff. I don't dispute that they're probably an inherently more aggressive breed, um, but I don't think any dog is beyond being domesticated. I don't think any dog is beyond controlling. Most people probably shouldn't have them if they're more aggressive than others, but I've never had a problem with any kind of dogs. As a little kid, I remember I befriended a fucking junkyard dog once that actually put people in the hospital. I've always had a way with dogs. But not everybody does. And, if it's a more aggressive breed, you probably shouldn't fucking have it. It probably shouldn't be around kids if kids don't know how the hell to handle it. So I'm not disputing any of that. That said, though, the reason this page made me laugh a great deal, single mothers against pit bulls. Look, a trillion pit bulls couldn't cause as much fucking harm to children as single motherhood has. Okay. Wolves wouldn't be as dangerous to fucking children as single mothers. Fuck single moms. Shit. I value the life of a pit bull over a million single moms. Those mommies want us woke on the PQ. I mean, look, I mean, we're race realists here, aren't we? I've said before that there's different attributes to different races, and there's different attributes to different dog breeds. So yeah, they probably are more prone to violence than other dog breeds. Hell, they were fucking bred for that reason. They were bred to be attack dogs and junkyard dogs and that sort of thing. Now, a large portion of it is going to have to do with how it's raised, obviously. I mean, their nurture matters just as much as nature, or at least a significant amount. But yeah, many of them probably are more prone to violence. So maybe they shouldn't be around kids. Because, kids are little fucking brats, and they're going to yank its ear, and it's going to have none of that, and it's going to fucking snap at it. Or maybe a pit bull should only be, in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing with that animal. Okay. But this fucking knee-jerk show, they should all be destroyed. They're evil. Oh, fuck you. They're not evil. They're just animals. I'll be honest with you. My advice to anyone that owns a dog, and I don't care if it's a pit bull or a little fucking chihuahua, don't let that dog around other people's kids. Period. And the reason I say that isn't a concern for the kids so much, because most people's kids can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. It's more just like, well, let me put it this way. Now my dog, Loki, he's passed away. He's off the doggy heaven as of a year ago, just over a year ago. But my dad's dog frequently chimes in during this show. And if I'm walking him or something, I'm very now he's an incredibly friendly dog, a Cavalier Spaniel. They're little fucking teddy bears. They're some of the friendliest damn dogs. They love kids. They're fantastic around kids. But here's the thing. If some kid comes into this yard, if he was out there on unsupervised, like the dog's out there unsupervised, say, let's say some kid just fucks with the dog, right? Let's say yanking his ears or something, just really fucking with that dog, and the dog has enough and bites him, little dog even, what am I gonna have to have the dog put down because the kid's an asshole? I don't trust kids around a dog, is what it boils down to with me. Because most people, especially nowadays, most people's kids are fucking shitheads. And if the dog bites the kid, nobody's gonna give a shit whether or not the kid had it coming. They're just gonna put the damn dog down. I remember that happening when I was a kid. There was this one neighbor of mine that had to put his dog down. It wasn't. I think it was a bigger dog. I think it was like a lab, like a yellow lab, but it was long haired. I can't remember the breed, but it was like, I don't know. It might have been like a cross between a lab and whatever the fuck breed Lassie was, something like that. But this one kid, fucked with this dog, and they ended up having to put the dog down because the dog attacked this kid, right? Now, nobody saw what the fuck happened, but everyone in the fucking neighborhood knew that kid was tormenting that dog, because we all knew that kid. We all knew that kid was a little shithead, okay? That kid is probably making license plates for the state of Maryland right now, all right? That kid was a bad seed, all right? You talk about somebody with, that's naturally a little more prone to violence. Well, that kid was a human fucking pit bull. Let's put it that way. And they had to put, and this was an older couple. Their kids were off in college and all, and that dog was all they had around the house. And they had to put that dog down because it put that kid in a fucking hospital. Well, I would, if, we could magically, peer back and see what happened on that day, I would bet every penny to my name, not that that's a great amount, that little shithead had it coming. Didn't matter. Didn't fucking matter. You could have proved it. You could have had fucking video evidence that would have proved it. Wouldn't have fucking mattered. That dog, that's basically the way the laws are. The dog, fucked up that kid, and so the dog had to be put down. So yeah, pit bull or chihuahua or anything in between. I'm telling you this right now. If you have a dog, you be damn careful if you let that around kids. And I ain't saying that for the kid's sake. I'm saying that for your dog's sake. I used to joke around when I had Loki with, I'd be like, I'm not saying my dog is like my kid. I'm just saying there's a sense in which the stakes are raised. If your kid bites someone, he's just going to get in trouble. If my dog bites someone, they're going to fucking, they're going to kill him. All right. They're coming for him, So yeah, my response to the page Christian single moms against pit bulls is, say what you will about pit bulls. Maybe they are too dangerous to have around kids, but pit bulls have not done nearly as much harm to children as single motherhood. Rose in the chat says, there's an attitude that once a dog tastes human blood, that they get addicted. I posit that human blood isn't that enjoyable for even an animal that eats anything to want. Yeah, I've never understood. Oh, it tasted blood, like that turns it into a fucking vampire. Yeah, my dog Loki, he killed a mouse once, so he tasted mouse blood. He wasn't on the fucking hunt for mice the rest of his fucking life. I mean, now dogs are naturally predators, but they're not, Someone says, heaven forbid it. Anybody take accountability for what animal they take into their home? That's elitist. Yeah, like I said, if you have something like a pit bull, frankly, if you have a large dog, period, you better know what the fuck you're doing about it. Because even the sweetest dog in the right circumstances could snap or could get rabies and you don't know, and it goes all fucking Cujo on you or some shit like that, just know what you're doing if you're dealing with a fucking 100-pound animal or however the hell big it is. Generally speaking, if you're gonna take animals into your care, just know what the fuck you're doing with them. Let's see. Probably has remnants to the days we had feral dogs as a problem. That whole bite / put it down thing. Someone says I cried at the end of Cujo. Cujo was the real victim. Yeah, I always felt really sad for the poor beast. I mean, you got to put a rabid dog down. Doesn't mean I don't feel bad for it. Dogs aren't really good fighters either. I mean, you ever see I think that Liam Neeson movie, The Gray? I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailers where the wolves are chasing them and all. Well, if you know what the fuck you're doing, you can. If you're in good shape and you got a big old puffy, padded coat, you can probably, if you know what you're doing, you can probably take down some wolves. Wolves aren't really that impressive of a predator when it comes down to it. They just hunt in packs, and similarly with dogs. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you really have nothing to fear from a dog attack. Dogs need space to pounce properly. Stepping inward at the chest level will keep them from leaping. They often won't bite either, but when they do, go for the calves. Yeah, and also one thing a lot of people, survivalists, would tell you is, if you get your arms up in front of your face, you don't let them. If they can get you at the neck or something like that, you're fucked. But if you put your arms up, shield more vulnerable areas. Yeah, they'll get a hold of your arm, but also if you push in rather than pull out, if they grab a hold of an arm or something, that'll basically trigger a gag reflex in any kind of dog. Wolves are physically more powerful than dogs. The pure breeds can crush bone. Yeah, that's true. Again, the big thing with wolves is you can't let them get you circled. But most times, if you're in the woods and there's a bunch of you, wolves aren't going to come after you. They don't. Wolves like to get something that's by itself and surround it. Dogs killed Conan's dad in the movie. That was metal. If a non-human developed real sentience, would we be obligated to kill it because it was a threat by its very nature? I wouldn't say if there's just one of it. No. Some breeds of pit bulls were bred to help hunting groups clear out wolf infestations in the countryside of Europe. It's true. Some of the wolves out in the Northwest get big as shit, But when you're dealing with the kind that are just about the size of dogs, they're not that big of a threat. Some of them are fucking big as you'd swear it was a small bear. Yeah, those you're probably fucked. But just, your basic North American timber wolf. But yeah, that's like I said, maybe pit bulls probably shouldn't be around kids. I understand that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's just how it's raised. No, it's not how it's raised. It, different breeds of dog are going to have tend to have different inherent temperaments to them. Chihuahuas, for instance, the smallest, most harmless of dog, are actually extremely aggressive little fuckers. And sometimes they got them sharp little needle teeth. Chihuahuas have been known to really hurt owners or kids and stuff like that. I know it sounds like fucking ridiculous, but again, if you don't know what you're doing and again, nobody, a lot of times when people have bigger dogs, if they're smart, they're even more, strict with it. They make sure it doesn't act a fool. But the little dogs, people just like don't care, until until somebody needs stitches in a hand. Dire wolves was an extinct version of wolves, and those ones love to kill humans. Yeah, it's like the North American like timber wolf, I think, is the one that's really not nearly the threat everyone wants to make it out to be. So he says, "Hey, my Chihuahua and I crazy love each other, and he has scratched me pretty good more than once." Well, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between a dog, drawing a little blood when you're wrestling with it or playing with it. I mean, Loki got me good a couple of times on my hand or my arm or something like that over the years, but we're sitting there, we're wrestling. What am I going to do? I mean, scold him because he got in a good shot? That's we're playing and he was playing. I know the difference between even if maybe he got me pretty good. I know the difference between playing and not. Are we doing dog talk? Yeah, I got on that subject. Let's see. Like I said, say what you will about pit bulls, but single moms are far, far worse. So he says, I got out on my dog's level once. I got nipped on the top of the head. What do you think of all the doggo pupper memes? Oh, I love those. Dog talk is so weird to cat people. No, your pet doesn't like you, and yes, it will make its opinion known. Okay, I'm not going to say, but I know that I know the person in the chat who said that is gay, and I'm going to just sit here and laugh at the fact that the gay guy is a cat person. I'm just going to laugh at how stereotypes turn out to be true. Yeah, I always like to get down on the floor and wrestle with it. I used to love that with Loki. Yeah. God, he was such a good dog. You know, when I took him to get put down, finally, 'cause he had developed diabetes, and you know, I think he caught it from Movie Bob. Um, but you know, I tried with the needles to get his blood sugar stabilized, but it just wasn't working. His health was failing, and somebody says we all know that person is gay now. Great subtlety, Bechtloff. Well, he doesn't hide it. I'm just not naming him on the thing. Um, Stereotypes have high statistical truth value, even the uncomfortable ones. Yeah, they didn't come out of nowhere. But anyways, when I finally had to take Loki to get put down, um, you know, they give him the shot, and you know, he falls asleep. Basically, he passes out, and then they give him another shot, and then you know, then he's off to doggy heaven. But you know, I'm just you know, he kind of lays down, and I'm kind of petting him, and I'm just crying like a baby. Um, and it was so amazing. I mean, you know, he's barely conscious. He sits up. He lifts himself up. I mean, with like the last bit of strength he has, and he starts licking my face. And the reason being is he knew I was upset and wanted to comfort me. You know, the last shred of strength he had in him, and he knew I was upset and wanted to make me feel better. As my favorite preacher Steve Brown once said, or likes to say, I guess, you know, if you don't believe in doggy heaven, you can take your erroneous theology elsewhere. Uh, Poor Loki, poor Bechtloff, bless doggy heaven. Thank you. Let's see. Going to the chat. So he says, I am sorry. Are you tearing up? Off. I feel the need to comfort. No, I'm all right. I do miss that little dog, though. You know, it's funny. When I ended up getting him, I actually was with my dad. My dad was looking for a they call them the red ones. They're basically brown. I don't know why we call them red, but they're the little brown ones, the rubies they call them in that Cavalier breed. My dad was looking for one of them for the longest time, and I didn't want a dog. I wasn't looking for a dog. Why? I had wandered out with him the one time. He was looking at these puppies, and the thing about that is you don't go look at puppies unless you're looking to buy a puppy, because you don't choose a dog chooses you. Like, that's the only advice I give someone if they wanted to get a dog. You go, you know, if you're going to a breeder or if you're going to a pound, it's the same thing. You pick the dog that has responded to you. You pick the dog that's picked you. And damned if he did not warm up to me immediately. And I had to think about it. You know, I wasn't sure if I was in a good position, you know. So, I had actually just moved back in with my dad. He was in the middle of a divorce, and I was between roommates, so I moved back in with him to help him with bills. And then over the years, it ended up I needed help with bills, and then it just reached a point where I'm like, you know, well, I'm not going to find a better roommate. So I basically decided I'd, you know, live with the old man till I found a wife and moved on, kind of thing. But I just moved back in with him. I wasn't sure about getting a damn dog. But so I actually went home and slept on it. I told him, like, look, I'm kind of interested in this dog, but let me sleep on it. And I kind of thought about that because it's like, I put more thought into buying a fucking dog than a lot of motherfuckers I know put into having kids. Especially these single moms, getting back to single moms. There's one I know through a friend. He is unfortunately involved with her, which just makes me cringe every time I think about it. But he's telling me the story, and he's not the one that knocked her up. He just knew her at the time, wasn't involved with her, but knew her. And he's all like, "Oh, it just happened." I'm like, "No, it didn't just happen. It didn't just happen." Okay, all right. She fucked somebody she probably shouldn't have. She did so without protection, and then she let him come in her. I mean, what the fuck did she think she was going to get? A fucking Corvette? Pregnancy's kind of fucking easy to avoid. All right? Like, here's a thought. Maybe you don't fuck around. Maybe you do that, okay? Or maybe if you absolutely got to scratch your fucking itch, I don't know, you have the guy wear a rubber, or you have him finish on your back or something like that. Pretty fucking easy to avoid getting pregnant. All right. I am hardly a virgin. I'm hardly pure as a driven snow. And I can tell you, I've never had a pregnancy scare with a girl. Because, gee, I don't want to get a girl pregnant. I don't come right in her fucking pussy. It's pretty easy to avoid. And the more I study this girl, or study is perhaps too strong a term, but the more I look at this girl, the more I realize she'll never admit this out loud. Possibly she'll never admit this to herself. But she did it on purpose. Herein lies the infuriating thing about these fucking single moms. Again, not always. And when I'm saying single moms, I'm not talking about divorcees or widows. Okay, that's a whole different fucking ball wax right there. All right. Now, yeah, most of the time divorces are a woman's fault, at least according to statistics, who is initiating it. But let's put that all aside, okay? Because if your husband ran out on you or dropped dead or something, you're not who I'm talking about. But these fucking bitches that get knocked up, it dawns on me, at least on a subconscious level, possibly not even that deep, they're doing it on purpose. If you were to look at this girl's Facebook, and I'm not going to name names, I wouldn't name names even if I was speaking positively of people I knew. I just don't do that. But if you were to look at her Facebook, at least last I checked, her profile picture is a picture of her kid. Not her and her kid, but a picture of her kid. Now think about that for a second. What is your profile picture on Facebook, or really any kind of social media? It's something that's meant to represent you. Whether or not it could be a picture of you, or it could be a picture of, I don't know, a cartoon character. It could be a symbol. It could be a picture of some famous person through history or whatever. But it's something that either directly or possibly even ironically kind of represents you. Making your profile picture a picture of another person, someone you know, that says something, doesn't it? That, and when you really look at her, you see this over and over again. That kid is her fucking identity. I remember one time that I had to tell my friend, like, look, because that kid's a little fucking disaster. All right. That kid is a little fucking disaster. And I mean, just ill-behaved little brat. Plus, at the time, he was going through the toddler phase, the terrible twos. But trust me, it was a lot more than the terrible twos. It was fucking terrible parenting, um, and quite possibly bad stock. I mean, both his parents were fuck ups, so there could have been a genetic aspect too to his. Anyways, point is, the kids just was a nightmare to be around. And I had to tell my friend, like, look, I don't care, if she's around you or something, but like the kid can't be around anymore because it's just fucking everything up. All right, like I'm saying this on behalf of everyone else around you, right? So next thing you know, we're all like together, and she's there without the kid. You would swear, like I don't know how to describe how lost she was without this kid. The kid's at her parents'. The kid's fine. He's taken care of. It's like you took a Borg drone away from the hive. That's how lost this person was, just devoid of identity. She wanted a kid because now she's a mother. See, now she is something, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a mother. I mean, obviously, if if y'all ladies didn't want to do that, we'd have problems a generation down the road, wouldn't we? But there's a, what's the little nursery rhyme we tell kids? First comes love, then marriage, then the fucking baby in the baby carriage. Okay, we tell that to kids for a reason. There's supposed to be a fucking procedure at play here. Okay, not first comes the bad boy in the backseat of a Honda, then comes the welfare check with the baby. That's not how it's supposed to fucking go. Okay. But yeah, that kid's her fucking identity now. So she'll never admit it. My friend will never admit this out loud, if he could accept it. But she'll never admit it, not to anyone else, possibly not even to herself. But she did that on purpose. She put that kid, she created this kid in a terrible situation on fucking purpose. Now, God forgive me. As far as I'm concerned, a million of her isn't worth one pit bull. But maybe that's just me. Somebody says the ones that use their kid as a shield are the worst single mothers. Let me scroll up to the chat here. K-types are often astounded at R-type impulsiveness. I mean, like, I get the idea that you want to breed, okay? Trust me, I could have a little redhead bastard running around right now if I wanted to. All right. But I kind of thought maybe I shouldn't breed till I'm in a position to care for a child and provide it with a decent home. Somebody says, I knew a couple who had 3 kids within the span of 3 to 4 years. Both of them went off to work in the meantime. They couldn't handle it, and the kids were taken by the government. They were all under 5. Oh, that's terrible. Let's see. Who is worse, single moms or married porn stars? Let me put it this way. I don't begrudge a porn star settling down. I don't necessarily know how a guy is able to deal with that. I mean, like, if I ended up with a girl who did like porn to the extent like Liz Vicious did porn, where it's like, you fuck some guy on camera, you dildoed yourself, and you did a little licky with a girl, I'm not going to be happy about that. But, aside from being on camera, a lot of girls have done most, if not all of that. But when you're talking about like Aurora Snow and, you've been gangbanged by 30 black dudes dressed like Black Panthers, and that's by far not even the worst fucking thing you've done. I don't know how you look past that. That said, though, that's two adults and they've made their choice. I just don't think a kid should be brought into that. If you're an ex-porn star, you just shouldn't fucking have kids, okay? You just shouldn't. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I should start a page, pit bulls against single mothers. And it's just memes of pit bulls ripping the face off fucking single moms. And then just other memes where it's like, take like a picture of Casey Anthony and be like, single moms be like. I remember when Jenna Jameson and Tito Oritz had kids. Eugenics wet dream right there. I don't know who Tito Oritz is. I didn't know Jenna Jameson had kids. Although, in all fairness, Jenna Jameson, I mean, I don't... Like, wasn't she like a porn star in the 90s? Porn wasn't that fucking bad in the 90s compared to now. I mean, I remember in the 90s, like, you never even saw dudes coming a chick in porn. Like, maybe kind of in her mouth, but not really. It was more on her face. Like, and people were fucking rubbers and shit. They actually, like safe sex was portrayed in porn regularly. Like, I remember even 10 years ago that, like, in porn, they were starting to show, like, an open contempt for fucking condoms. Like, there were porns I had seen where girls like pulled the condom off a dude and was like, ew. I'm like, yeah, that's a good fucking sentiment for us to all have. Apparently Tito is an MMA star. Okay, I get the eugenics thing right there. Let's see. What's going on in chat in the old Discord here? Anybody? Fucking yesterday, man, everybody blew up the Discord with memes. Oh, I was dying. Absolutely dying. All right. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'll give the chat like another minute or so to catch up with any kind of last minute questions there. If you like the content I put out, do check out the Patreon and the PayPal and the Amazon wish list, all that good stuff. You can become a regular supporter on the Patreon. You can send a one-time donation on the PayPal. And, there's the Amazon wish list, obviously. I mentioned before, but any kind of media I get off the Amazon wish list, I am going to do a review of. A book or a DVD or a game, I'll do a review of. Even it might just be a review on the on one of these live streams, or it might be a full animated review. We'll see. And NC Clark lit up the board with memes. That girl likes to spark shit up indeed. Yeah, you know what? In case any of you haven't yet, I will throw real quick a link to the Discord channel or the Discord, whatever the fuck it's called, in the chat here, so you can all check it out. And I'm going to go ahead and close by reading a comment. I read this last night, but I'm going to read it again because it's just fucking magical. Just magical. Okay? So I did a video a little while ago, one of the animated videos Luke did. It was the last one I had done, called Disney Didn't Ruin Star Wars, Star Wars Fans Ruined Star Wars. And the basic premise of this video is that how should I put this? Star Wars is as bad as it is right now, because Star Wars fans never demanded it get better. You know what I mean? In other words, like the the one after another movie that sucks came out, and Star Wars fans just kept going to see it. Unapologetically, just going to see it, right? So, a Star Wars fan took issue with this. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and read his comment. And this is difficult to read because holy shit, you'll see it here in a second. This guy's name is MYGA Community. He doesn't seem to have any actual stuff on his. He doesn't seem to have any actual content on his channel up, but as Casey Kasem said, Andy writes, I'm sorry, I gotta brace myself because it's just hard to read. If it wasn't the Star Wars fans butchering the prequels, we would have seen. I'm sorry, I gotta start over again because I want to read it the way it's written, and it's hard to do because it's written so fucked up. Okay. If it wasn't the Star Wars fans butchering the prequels, we would have seen the George Lucas version of the Star Wars sequel. But no, most Star Wars fans, not all of them, don't deserve respect for throwing shit at George Lucas at his prequels. Even though I'll be honest to you, the prequels wasn't good, but I like it because it show you about the story that take place before the originals trilogy happens. And I love it. And honest words, I love the sequel trilogy and the standalone Star Wars movie that was made from Disney right now. Period. First fucking period. I might add. I read it as it's written. It is another paragraph here. If a Star Wars fans demand something, they hate this or they want that. Why are they saying something that you are not part of making the movie? It's like fans giving spoilers to director for the new upcoming Star Wars film, which is the most stupidest thing they ever do, because some Star Wars fans will know what is going to happen and they never keep their mouth shut. No period there. Also the wrong there. Then he writes, to all Star Wars fans, including me, be grateful what we get and stop demanding shit and shut your mouth. Hashtag respect Star Wars. So he says, was this guy Chinese? I'm not sure if English is like his third or fourth language or he's just that autistic. Or if he's like 12 and like too fucking excited or something. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just it's fucking magical though. I think I want to read it and have Luke do an animated video of me reading it. Like have the little Bulbasaur with like, puts on like reading glasses and pulls out like a piece of paper to read it, like it's fucking slam poetry or something. Oh, it's fantastic. Hey, Bechtloff, seeing that you enjoy Hellraiser, what's your opinion on the movie Nightbreed? It's another movie made by Clive Barker. I don't have any opinion because I have not seen it. So, I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Even the Hellraiser movies, a lot of them are not very good. I mean, I freely admit that. It's basically my favorite horror movie series. Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street's my favorite. Nightmare on Elm Street has a far better track record too. But the mythos in Hellraiser, there's just a lot there. All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that comment because holy shit. It was special. It was special. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get to bed. Actually, I'm not really going to bed yet. I work in second shift, so I usually don't go to bed till like around 3 or 4. But I got other stuff I want to do before I go to bed, so I want to read a little bit. Maybe do a little Breath of the Wild. I gotta just finally buckle down and do the Divine Beast already. I think I've actually kind of reached the end of exploration. Really, I mean, I'm sure there's more stuff to find, but there's not going to be any real major stuff to find. Alrighty, folks. That's about all I got for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. Like I said, if you enjoyed the content, check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Amazon wish list. And once I get my regular channel back mid next month, I'm gonna try and really hit the ground running with some good content for you folks. I got at least one thing lined up, a few other irons in the fire I'm working on. Hopefully I can really up the game on that. All right, folks, that's all I got for tonight. Bechtloff out.